Yeah, you know what time it is. Valhalla Hour, let's go! Kick back, put on your headphones tight. Rob and Matt, bringing fire every night. From the land of 10,000 lakes, we rule the scene. With a crew so fresh, keeping it raw and clean. Minnesota Vikings, kings of the north. We wear our purple heart and let the battle roar forth. Breaking down the game, dissecting the plays. With passion so fierce, we'll set the night ablaze. So give us a follow, hit that like. Share it with your crew, you know we're about to strike. Valhalla, our podcast, living life bold, where legends are made and stories are told.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. It's another wonderful Saturday. At least it warmed up some down here in Iowa. So
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I was thinking it hit like 54 yesterday. I'll take it for February. Shit.
So not a lot of news this past week and everything, but the combine is 9 days away now or something like that. So
A little bit of news with the Kyler Murray quote and the NFL banning the player report cards, the NFLPA report cards.
yeah, we were number 2 again on that, something like that.
For the last time. That's just such a weird thing to get rid of the report cards because some teams feel salty that they grade shitty. Just don't be shitty.
Right. So yeah, the Kyler Murray is kind of leaking that he would not mind playing in Minnesota at all. And then right on the heels of Jeremiah Love also kind of making a vague statement that he would love to be drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. The problem is I don't think Jeremiah Love's going to be there at 18.
Right. Nor are the Vikings going to move up to the top 10 to get him.
Right.
Yeah.
I think here after a little bit while we're doing the show, we can run a mock draft and everything. I think Colin's going to join us. I want to give him a chance to get in here, give some perspectives, because we've talked ad nauseum about, do we want tier 2 type of guy we're bringing in as a veteran like a Mac Jones or whatever, or do we want to actually shoot for the stars? And then, of course, the whole Kirk Cousins thing has emerged again. What's your take on that?
So I think it was Phil Mackey was saying that he wants to give Kirk $40 million guaranteed for 1 year, which I think we can almost all agree is fucking ridiculous. Like I was the biggest Kirk supporter while he was here, but he's made enough money. Like he showed last year, he's not a $40 million quarterback anymore. If you can bring him in for $10 million to push to be the starter / backup, at this point, after what we saw last year, I'm all for it for that price. But I'm going nowhere near above $10 million to bring him in if that's the case.
Yeah, Kirk would get like Sam Darnold money. I'm not even really interested in bringing him back, except for the fact that it's better than anything we have right now.
That's the only thing.
What's the word on Carson Wentz? Is he surgery done, completed? He's healing. Is he going to be back? What's the story?
He should be healed by now. I think it was like a 4-month recovery window, but I mean, I think it was only a 1-year deal anyway, so we'll see if we even sign him to bring him back.
Yeah.
Well, I know I beat this to death constantly, but if we don't do something about our offensive line, it doesn't matter who we get to handle the rock.
Right.
Offensive line.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
So, Colin, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, not too
Doing
bad.
good.
So some of the stuff
Right on.
we've discussed on this show here at the noon slot and everything since the end of the season is basically on the O-line with Kelly. He needs to just retire, and think about his health and his family. That is way too many brain injuries to be having, so we are gonna need a center. We feel like Jones is probably going to be a cap casualty, so we're probably going to need a running back. And then the quarterback situation, they're not going to abandon JJ McCarthy, but I do think you need to bring in a veteran. It's just what kind of veteran do you bring in? Do you bring in, a tier 2 guy like a Mac Jones or, something like that? Or, do you go after, we don't want to trade the house for Joe Burrow, and make it all in because we would mortgage our future for the next 5 years doing it just to try to win a Super Bowl next year. And he's also injury prone. And then of the other options out there, like Kyler Murray is one of those guys that's right on that line and whatever. And he just expressed interest in it. What's your take on all this stuff, Colin? We haven't had you on in quite a while.
No, I know. It's good to be back. I think going back to that offensive line is a huge thing. I think getting as much as we really rely on Darrisaw and O'Neal, I think you saw, Darrisaw is nearing the end, or O'Neal is nearing the end. Like, you need to have something developing in his place. If at very least you have a guy that you draft that could play either position and could fill in more admirably than School or Joe Huber or Walter Rouse. Like, you need to put some good draft capital, whether it's in the second round, first round, depending on who it is. You really need to seriously consider that. A center is definitely somebody that I would look at too. What I would probably do is I did see some signs of Blake Brandel actually acclimating to the position a little bit better throughout the season. So I would draft a center and I would have Brandel be the guy that kind of starts it out unless the person you draft beats them out. Like, I would definitely get a center. The running back position, I'm fine with them letting go of Aaron Jones. I have a feeling he may venture to Pittsburgh with old Aaron Rodgers if McCarthy wants to bring him back. On the same note, maybe we can do a little give or take. I'm a big fan of Kenneth Gainwell. I don't think he would cost a ton. He looked really impressive with Pittsburgh last year on a team that really didn't have a whole lot of offensive weapons. He catches the ball like a wide receiver out of the backfield, and he can block on third down. Like, he's I was a little surprised when Philadelphia let him go last year, and he ended up with Pittsburgh. He was the better. Between him and Jalen Warren, I felt he was the more versatile back, and I don't know what he would get on the free agent market, but to me, you draft another running back, you sign Gainwell, and you have Mason and Gainwell. But again, this also goes back to O'Connell and his insistence on wanting to throw the ball all the time. Like, if you draft McCarthy, he came from a college where he didn't throw the ball all the time. It was a run-based team that if you're going to take a guy in the top 10, you need to kind of acclimate your game plan to whatever the quarterback's skills are. Like, if you draft Lamar Jackson, you got to go to a more run-based offense, and you had to have him be involved in it. Go to a pass offense, then you go out and get wide receivers. But I would look at Gainwell heavily. I would look at drafting a defensive tackle in the first round. I'm tired. It's been since Sharif Floyd that we've drafted one defensive tackle since Kevin Williams in the first round. Peter Woods is sitting there from Clemson at 18. Get him. I wouldn't. My three guys that are non-negotiables at 18, if they are there in order: Peter Woods, Jeremiah Love, Mansour Delane. Those three guys, if any of those three guys are there, that's the pick if you stay at 18.
Well, have your assignment.
Yeah. A lot of the mocks I've been running, they're like Jeremiah Love's been going as high as 4 on Pro Football Focus.
I'm not. Yes, it's highly. I'm like, I don't think he gets by Kansas City. I think if he's up when Kansas City picks, he's not going anywhere but Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do feel like we're definitely restructuring O'Neal, Hawkinson, if not a trade, and for sure Grenard, because those three outside of Jones are our top 4 cap things. Then again, I'm not really concerned about it either because Rob Brzezinski will come up with the money for us to do basically whatever we want to do like he does every year. So it's not a huge deal, I guess. But that's what I see. I see Jones being odd man out. I could see Hawkinson and everybody else restructuring. And then we work that in that fashion. If you had your pick on, because I also think it's Max Brosmer is a couple years away from ever should ever be on the active 53. I feel like he needs to be a practice squad guy for a while. if something ever happens to where we have to have Max Brosmer starting a football game ever again, we have really, really failed as an organization. And I feel like in the later rounds, some of these quarterbacks that are in the later rounds, because we have a decent amount of picks toward the end, even Diego Pavia's, I mean, I've been picking him up when I have picked him up like in the 6th round. You know, that's just an example, but who would you think, you know, because I think you should always draft a linebacker. I think you should always draft a corner. You know, it doesn't hurt to keep bringing quarterbacks in because it's so hard to hit on a good one. Who would you think for some of these later round guys out there that you've seen that you would have your eye on, Colin?
I honestly, it's not even any quarterback in this draft. A guy that I brought up more than a few times that I feel like wouldn't cost them a ton is a quarterback right now for Dallas named Joe Milton. I think he's got every physical tool in the book. I think you could possibly get him for a 5th round pick. It's a guy who's been on 2 NFL teams. He fits right into what O'Connell likes in a guy who's been in the league, has the physical traits, I mean, he can throw the ball like 85 yards. The guy has got an absolute rifle of an arm. But he has a lot of untapped talent in place. Like, he's a guy, they're really outside of Fernando Mendoza in this draft. I don't see really anybody that really goes. If Trinidad Chambliss would have gone into the draft, he would have been the number 2 quarterback for me in this draft. But there's not really a quarterback, unless you're talking about a developmental guy, like a really, really developmental guy that I would consider taking in this draft. I would focus more of my attention, offensive line depth, defensive line depth, and maybe even a wide receiver. I mean, I would look to move Addison. I try and move Addison again because I think you could sign Naylor for cheaper, and I feel like he has a better rapport with McCarthy than Addison does, because Addison can't get out of his own way, and he's going to ask for a lot of money. Like Naylor, you could get Naylor for maybe $10 million a year. Like if you could get Naylor for $10 million a year, now you've opened up drafting a wide receiver. You can get a pick for Addison. You can get a pick for Grenard, and you could have a third guy that you're not paying any money to at 2 positions. So that's where I would.
Yeah, my thing about drafting a wide receiver is we've been having some hits lately. We've also had a lot of misses, and I didn't trust Kwesi, any more than I trust.
I'm glad they fired Kwesi before the draft because his drafting is beyond questionable.
Yeah, but, if there's some level of competence, I would say this. I've always been in favor of keeping Addison, but if it's looking like they think they could get some hits on some good prospects in the draft, if you're going to move Addison and move Naylor up to number 2, then you definitely restructure Hawkinson and keep him on the team, because we're one of the few teams that have the equivalent of basically 2 number 1 wide receivers with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. And then you've got Naylor and you've got all these other guys in the wing that are waiting to get their chance. And we do have good talent on this team to fill it out, but it's not like, if we had any kind of competent quarterback play last year, which we did not,
we would have won the division. we would have won the division
easily. That's a star-studded lineup right there. And that really the only thing I could fault with stuff that massively went wrong was just the O-line injuries to start the year and so many different combinations. I do feel like they rushed Darrisaw back way too quick.
Yes.
And I feel like next
100%.
year after having that, Darrisaw will be back to his old form. Our left guard that we drafted, Donovan Jackson, I thought performed outstandingly good as a rookie. Blake Brandel has shown that, if everything goes wrong, he could be a serviceable center. Fries, he's got his moments. I think there's something to work on as his first year in this system. And then, of course, we already discussed O'Neal. I think you try to grab any type of lineman. I think that's your safe bets. And if that's where we were going in the first or second round was the best offensive lineman out there, and then, or conversely, best defensive, a big man, a 3 technique or nose, I think we could benefit from that too, because I honestly don't feel like Hargraves and Allen should stick. I feel like they were the
You can cut them both. Just get rid of that salary. I'm fine with it. Because, to be honest, the defense looked better with LDR and Jalen Redmond on the field anyways.
Yep.
And with the system with the system that they ran. So you got Van Ginkel and Grenard and Turner. They're not natural down linemen. You don't have to have like a down in the trenches guy on the front three rushing the passer. Like you could have three big dudes, have three big defensive tackles be on the O-line, and then let them clear the space for the offense, the outside linebackers, edge rushers, and inside linebackers to put that pressure on. So I would look at getting a third defensive tackle. Just like I said, Peter Woods is somebody I looked at. I looked at Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. That guy is an up and coming guy. I would look at two guys like that to pair with Drake Rodriguez and with Redmond. Like I think you could run with that and take the picks that you could possibly get for Grenard and Addison and just add depth at other positions.
And I asked her if she spoke.
What would you think about trying to just get Kyrie's Tonga back from the Patriots? I don't know what kind of contract he signed when he went there, but
it probably was minimal. But I don't know if New England would move him. I mean, I think New England might. I mean, they were in the Super Bowl. Like, why would you move a guy that doesn't cost a lot and was a very integral player? Like, they went and got Mill Williams. Yeah, the thing that bothered me about Kwesi is it's kind of a roll of the dice when you go with quantity in free agency as opposed to quality. I'm more of a quality guy. Like, you go and you sign Kelly, you go and sign Isaiah Rodgers, you go and sign Hargrave, you go and sign Allen. You pull all four of those salaries together. Why not go and get Myles Garrett? Just pay one guy and then draft better. But the problem is we haven't drafted better and we haven't had depth to build around that one pivotal guy. I think when the Vikings were doing well, especially at the beginning of the Wilfs ownership, is when they went and got quality players, whether it was Jared Allen, Steve Hutchinson, Antoine Winfield. Like, these were quality players. Pat Williams. These were quality players. This wasn't quantity, this was quality. And Linval Joseph was another guy too. But you built it on the lines. And that's where you became a more stout team. If you can stop them in the trenches, that opens up everywhere you go. The Vikings have proven that they can find position talent. Like, they can find wide receivers. They can find running backs. They can find these guys. I think they brutally underused Josh Oliver, to be honest with you. I think they brutally underutilized him. I think he has a lot more talent than people think, but because they signed him as a quote-unquote blocking tight end, I think they're misusing him. I think he had maybe a drop or two where they're like, "Oh, you can't throw it to him." Now I'm like, no. I mean, Hockenson drops balls too. So, quality over quantity.
yeah. The dicked up thing of it is last year it seemed like everybody we had dropped balls, and it's stuff they'd never done before. You know, they've always been really good at securing the pass, and it's like I can't tell you how many times Addison, Hockenson, even a couple times with Jefferson, it's like, man, in the past, you've always caught that. The announcers, you'd even be like, yeah, you got to catch that. And they usually always do. Something's going on, it's like, I don't know.
I think it's a level of consistency from McCarthy. It's a level of consistency from McCarthy. Like, if he's coming at 10 yards over your head, three throws out of 4, how are you supposed to be able to focus on one that, he actually got it in there that time? That's why I was big on Aaron Rodgers coming to the Vikings for a year. I was fine with that. I would have been told. I know I'm in kind of a minority on that, but again, if we would have had a quarterback that could throw the ball, we would have won the division. Like, we would have. We wouldn't have had these horrible starting games with McCarthy. I remember the pass against Atlanta where McCarthy totally missed a wide open Jalen Naylor for a 70-yard touchdown. Like, it was as easy of a pass as you could throw, and he overthrew it by 15 yards. He's learning. He's learning.
In retrospect, if we would have just brought Rodgers in, we would have been a 12 or 13 win team, won the division, possibly won a playoff game, because the way it happened, we would have ended up playing.
Who knows how far we would have gone? This wasn't a year when there wasn't like an overwhelming Super Bowl favorite in either the AFC or the NFC. All the major players and powers were out of it. This was an open season for, here, you can nominate yourself for being the new power team. The Vikings could have easily done it. The defense won us 5 games in a row. Mason ran the ball well down the stretch, and I know there was a couple games that didn't mean anything, but you still have to have consistency. So winning 5 in a row to end the season, as much as I hated it for our draft status going down, you have to play. You have to play. I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well players that are young and players that you want to see prove themselves, because eventually that's what you got to go look forward going through. The trade for Thielen was a joke. That's a big reason why, to me, Kwesi lost his job. And I know Kwesi didn't have as much to do with the Thielen trade, but trading for Cam Akers twice, come on. Giving Hawkinson a huge contract extension when he couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. Like, there's things that they did in the front office. I know it didn't all fall on Kwesi, but if you're the general manager, you have to tell the coaches that off. Like, I'm the general manager. I'm being put in charge to put players on the field that you need. I don't need you chirping in my ear every 5 minutes. I don't need ownership chirping in my ear every 5 minutes. If you want to be an owner and you want to be the GM, then be the GM. But you were doing better when you weren't chirping.
Right. And this season, just strangely, the end of it, it made me think back to the conclusion of, I think it was the 08 season. Or no, because we won the division in 08. It was 07. 2007. Kevin Seifert from ESPN. This is before we were really all. Kevin Seifert from ESPN on his first go around when he was the Vikings beat writer. It's like, well, at the end of the year, the Vikings beat every team in their division. They fell short of what they wanted. The bottom line is this is a really, really, really good team that needs a quarterback. And it would be 2 years later with that roster that they made the blockbuster move and they got Brett Favre. I don't see lightning striking twice like that, like with us going try to grab Joe Burrow for all the money in the house, on the table, or even like Dak Prescott or anybody like that. But this feels like it's like that exact sentiment. This is a really, really outstandingly good team that just needs a quarterback. Because like we've talked in the past, we have so much of the nucleus of the talent on this team that's in their prime right stinking now. And in fact, O'Neal and Jones, are past their prime, but you look at Darrisaw in his prime and will return to form in everything next year once he's had a off season to fully heal that ACL. Jefferson in his prime, Addison in his prime, Hawkinson in his prime. You look at Jordan Mason is in his prime. Van Ginkel nearing the end of it because he's a little bit older. Gennard's in his prime. I don't know what the hell happened to Metellus. He fell off a cliff last year, but he is in his prime if he's not demoted, and then you look at Blake Cashman is in his prime. Eric Wilson is in his prime. They have to do something different than what they're doing right now, or we're going to see one of the best talent core nucleuses ever assembled on the Minnesota Vikings absolutely go to waste, and nobody is better at doing that than us over history, unfortunately.
Quarterback has been our albatross since Dante Culpepper. Quarterback and drafting defensive tackles. We passed on so many times, and we just I don't know what it is. I mean, I really don't. I wish I could answer that for you.
Ever since Mike Zimmer's first 2 years or 3, we haven't been able to do shit at cornerback either. That's a little
I like Rodgers. I do like Rodgers. I think the problem with the Vikings last year was the offensive line again. And I think people are kind of unfairly judging Fries and Jackson, because when you have such ineptitude at center and the constant injuries at both of the tackle spots, you're asked as a guard to do so much more with your regular guys not being there. So that's why, again, I would honestly hire Jeff Stoutland, the guy who just left Philadelphia, as an offensive line coach. I don't know if we've hired an offensive line coach yet. But that guy knows offensive lines. I would hire that guy right now.
We have actually made quite a few moves on that. We have that. What was it? Keith Davis is moved up.
Yeah, the assistant O-line coach is the new O-line coach.
Keith Carter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Cooper went to Philadelphia with Mannion, right?
Yeah, let me go ahead and re-update all this stuff here quick. I just got to go back and find them. All the moves. Okay, so Keith Carter has been promoted offensive line coach. Frank Smith, they brought him in to be the assistant head coach, and he's going to be huge. Sitting with all his credentials, sitting in Rob's ear during the draft. Ryan Nielsen is brought in for defensive running game coordinator. Gerald Alexander, defensive passing game coordinator and defensive backs. They brought him in for that. And then hold up one second. And then we had a couple more recent ones here.
Do we still have Ryan Grigson in the front office?
That's a good question. I don't know.
They need to fire him now. That guy has been nothing but a pariah. He killed the Colts. He's been killing the Vikings the last couple of years. He is nothing. They need to let him go.
So Ryan Cordell got promoted from whatever he was doing. It's a tight ends and game management coordinator. And they hired Derek Warheim as the assistant offensive line coach. And that was yesterday. And I missed it.
Can we hire Stoutland as our senior advisor of the offensive line? Can we create a position and make him like the senior advisor of the offensive line?
Right.
There's no salary cap on coaching. And as Philadelphia approved last year with their offensive coordinator, coordinators matter. That's why signing Flores was such a big move. Like I would give him $1 million less than the lowest paid head coach in the NFL. Just be like, the defense is yours. Here you go. Because we were a top 5 defense. Ever since we brought him in, all it's done better. You think it's not going to be better now? Like it's as long as you keep him in that room, that's so important. It's so important.
Well, and what's scary is it's gone better with poor drafting. Imagine if we actually hit on the corner and defensive tackle. That'd be insane.
On anybody. Like we hit on anybody. I mean, I think Turner is no pun intended turning the corner. Like I think he's turning the corner, and I think this is probably a good time to move Grenard. Now, realistically, do you think we get like a second round pick maybe for Grenard?
Probably a third. I think he's a little old for a second rounder.
You don't think we only get a second for him? Wow. Okay.
Possibly. I mean, if a team was really desperate, yeah, but I mean, he's not cheap, and he's 29, so
that's not that old. 29 is not that old, but I mean, just hypothetically, how about Grenard to the Patriots for their last pick in the second round?
For Drake May, absolutely.
No, for the second round pick, get out of here.
Right?
They didn't want to trade for Drake May a couple years ago. They ain't gonna trade for Drake May.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think I would like to see them do what it takes to have Andrew Van Ginkel retire as a Viking. Grenard, I think, still has one more contract on him, and he is expensive. So I do think that is logical to trade and get whatever we can out of him. And then you still, at the beginning of the year, I was like, fuck no. But after watching Dallas Turner develop and really actually in a lot of instances become better than Grenard, what was it? They had at one point in time, it was like 38 almost sacks. I've never seen somebody whiff so much. I mean, the guy could have had push a Strahan's record this year if he could have just gotten somebody in the ground. I've never seen so many.
Turner was playing out of position when he had to back up Van Ginkel. That wasn't his real position. Like Van Ginkel plays a little bit different position than Grenard does.
Right.
Turner plays Grenard's position, and if Grenard's there, you're not playing over Grenard. So now you got to play Van Ginkel's position. Well, Van Ginkel's position is different than Grenard's. So if you don't have Grenard and you got Van Ginkel, now they're playing at the right positions that they need to play. And now they're playing in the right spots.
I think with the fact that you do have some good guys in rotation like Tyrion Ingram Dawkins and stuff like that as well that's on the roster, young guy, had his spots. I mean, that is is a position of luxury for the Minnesota Vikings. So some of these guys that are sitting there, you're not going to see them because, you know, they're like level. They're still really good player, but you're certainly not going to, you know, take snaps away from Grenard or Van Ginkel if they're in there healthy, or Turner at this point, you know.
Developing depth.
And I'm comfortable with going ahead and trying to Grenard being trade bait at this point in time, because I'm pretty comfortable with what we have or who we could get, really, you know.
Part of it's salary too. Like, we're really high up on that salary scale. There's going to be, I mean, Kelly will be gone, so that's one big contract. Restructure O'Neill, that's another big amount of money. Harrison Smith money will be gone, so you got that. Yeah, I mean, you gotta move some stuff around to be able to field team, but we do have the right guy in the room in Brzezinski to do it.
Yeah.
I think you definitely have the right guy in the room.
Well,
You're saying you were doing a. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna kind of say, like, we're sitting here talking about, like, we can trade Grenard, we can trade Addison. We need to do something with quarterback, because right now we have this roster that's just full of, like, prime talent. And that's, like, we say we're not going to make a big swing for, like, a vet like a Dak or like a Burrow, but that's exactly, I would offer Dallas Grenard and Addison, because they have Pickens on the franchise tag right now. Send Addison and Grenard over there for Dak and say, like, hey, if you figure out quarterback, give us Dak. We'll give you this good edge rusher. We'll give you this really good receiver. You can see who you want to keep between Pickens and Addison. And then we get a quarterback. Like, again, are the Wolves going to be serious this year and try to win? Or are we going to Sam Bradford, Matt Castle this shit with a Mac Jones or Kyler Murray? I guess we'll see. Like, we have a lot of draft capital.
Dak's a lot of money, though. Dak, you mean you'd have to ask Dallas to take a huge chunk of his money, and they're not going to do that. Like, Dak would be way too expensive. At least with Burrow, you've got. I mean, you'd be giving up a lot of picks, but you wouldn't have an overbearing salary. Dak's like 60, 70 million. Like, that would put you way more in cap hell than anything else. So Dak is pretty much immovable in this situation. I like Milton, though. Joe Milton, I like. I like Joe Milton. I mean, it's just Matt Castle, one of the developer guys, but somewhat. But again, like, what is the owner's goal? That's my question. Like, what is their goal? Because you can't. I mean, you want to have, like, a competitive rebuild. That sounds great and all, but if you have the ability to pull the trigger, I mean, Kyler, I have no interest in. That guy plays video games and meetings. I have zero interest in Kyler Murray. Bringing in a potential of somebody. I mean, I don't know. Did Arizona re-sign Jacoby Brissett?
I'm not aware if they did or not.
I would have zero problem bringing in Jacoby Brissett. I mean, if you really want to Matt Castle it, Brissett looked pretty good, and when he played, I'd take him over Kyler Murray for sure. I've always been big on Gardner Minshew as a backup, but
he tore his ACL.
Gardner Minshew. Okay, well, no Gardner Minshew then.
But, like, Malik Willis from Green Bay, Mac Jones, like, there's a lot of that's fine options.
I like Willis in that draft, but I think Willis is going to end up in Miami with Halfley. That's just my take on that. And they brought in an offensive guy from Green Bay to go with Halfley. So the writing's on the wall that Willis is going to be in Miami.
That's fair.
Tua I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. No. That guy almost shouldn't have even been drafted. Like, he had so many bad injuries in college, and I blame Saban because he's a good kid, but I mean, when you dislocate your hip and concussions, like, before you even, and unnecessary injuries. But I would take a chance on finding somebody that's an untapped guy, like a Joe Milton. To me, I don't think Trey Lance has got it. But I mean, if you look around and you look at the success that O'Connell's had over the years, I think Milton's as well. I also think of a player that I would look at. And I'm not even saying this even as a quarterback, but if you want to buy really, really, really low on a guy right now, why not think of making a Weapon X out of Anthony Richardson? I mean, you wouldn't have to trade hardly anything for Anthony Richardson. They just probably want him out of the building. And I know that him and O'Connell have a relationship. But as long as you go into it with zero expectation and say, I mean, I've seen it happen with Terrell Pryor. I've seen it happen with Taysom Hill. They're just so athletically talented. If you can somehow mentally convince this guy, listen, if you want to play in the NFL for 5 more years, you're going to have to do something like this. Otherwise, you're going to be out. Because nobody's going to trust the guy who taps out of a game. So,
Yeah.
what do you guys think about that?
That's exactly it, though. It's like, A, he can't stay healthy, and that's the issue we have with McCarthy. Even if McCarthy's good, he can't stay healthy. So I don't want 2 injury-prone quarterbacks. And 2, like you just said, I don't want someone that's going to tap out in the middle of the game when they're in the red zone because he's tired. Like, that might be overblown because he did it one time, but he's also only been on the field for like 10 healthy games. So I wouldn't touch Anthony Richardson at all.
So we had 2 comments. One of them was Derek Carr. The other one's Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure.
No on Watson.
Derek Carr is Ryan Kelly as a quarterback. I would not. Too many injuries, too many concussions. Deshaun Watson. We do have a lot of Asian massage parlors in the Twin Cities, but I would still stay away from. I would stay away from Deshaun Watson as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to end up being Mac Jones for like a 5th.
Yeah.
I hope not. But
not. If we
I think San Francisco wants more than a 5th for him.
Well,
That's
if we
fair.
do, I wouldn't give up more than a 5th this year or a 5th and like a 6th or 7th next year. He is not. A lot of people, we should give a 3rd. No, you don't. No. That's a 5th or lower. And with any kind of trade, you're going to always overpay. But we got to be realistic about it. I mean, if they're going to sit here, we want a 3rd rounder for Mac Jones. Well, you can wish in one hand, shit in the other one, see what happens first, because you ain't getting it. We'll give you a 5th
Right.
and 7th next year. But
how about Jameis Winston?
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with Winston.
I think I would be fine with that too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Winston, I mean, as long as you manage your expectations for the guy, and it's the same thing that I said about Aaron Rodgers last year when McCarthy was coming back from injury. I'm like, okay, you signed Aaron Rodgers. He is what he is, but he's 41 years old. He's not going to be playing for the team in 5 years. McCarthy will still be on a rookie contract by the time he finishes with the team. Sign Aaron Rodgers to a 1 at the most 2-year contract. That's it.
Yeah.
Winston's the same way.
No, I'd be totally fine with Winston for like 15 or 20 million for the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a mock draft simulator loaded up, and I don't have a way to stick it on the thing. So it'll be on my phone. But what I'll do is I made the priorities as basically going for like a positional value is equally as important as need on this, so that it doesn't get skewered. I took the randomness all the way off. What we can do is I have this sped up, and we'll get to our picks. I'll tell you what the best player available is, and then like the next 3 or 4 choices on the screen, so we don't start getting away from who the best players available are and everything. But I'm going to start this. We got 20 minutes left in the show. So
real quick before we start this, I have a question real quick about so Seattle. There was the picture that came out last week of their draft picks since 2022 and how they've hit on like 12 players over the last 3 or 4 drafts. We got Seattle's Rob Brzezinski on the team this year as our assistant GM. Do you think he makes an impact on our draft, or do you think he was just a numbers guy like Rob B, and that he's not really going to help be like a talent scout? Like, is that a big get with how well they've been drafting?
I think anything helps with the way that Kwesi's drafted. Anything helps.
Touche.
I think he's there with the title of assistant head coach just for shits and grins. I think he was brought in to make sure that this draft is run the way it should be. And yeah, then he can be the assistant head coach on the team, whatever the hell that.
No, the assistant GM.
Or yeah. I think it's a great pickup. And as good as Rob is with numbers and has been for 3 decades, if he can utilize the input that he's getting from this guy and draft as well as he does cap stuff, we should have the best draft in the universe.
Hopefully. Maybe we can get 2 starters.
Ooh,
know-
2 out of 8 picks. That would be nice. We've had 4 total starters in 4 years.
4
So I would
drafts.
think that we
Right.
could maybe do well.
Let's double it.
It's bad if the best player you've taken in 4 years is a kicker. But it is true. That is the best player we drafted is a kicker. And thank God. Thank God for Will Reichard, because
Oh
good
my
God
God.
Almighty. There
Right.
hasn't been more of a heaven sent pick than that guy. So, all right, let's roll.
All righty, here we go. We are pretending that we are Rob Brzezinski, and we are starting the 2026 NFL Draft. Jeremiah Love went number 10 to the Bengals, and we are on the clock.
Bengals. Did the Chiefs
Yeah.
let him go? Unbelievable.
We are on the clock. Our best player available is Caleb Banks, interior defensive lineman out of Florida, and then it's Avion Terrell, a cornerback out of Clemson. Denzel Boston, a wide receiver out of Washington, and then Caden McDonald, a defensive interior lineman out of Ohio State. That's our 4 right there.
Give me the top 4 corners. What are the top 4 corners?
So Avion Terrell is there and everything, and then we have. I don't think we need to mess with wide receiver, but we have 2 good defensive interior linemen, and then the corner. What are you guys thinking on this?
Well, I was thinking corner, defensive tackle, maybe offensive tackle. So maybe if you could scroll up to those 3 positions.
We do have a tackle that's ranked number 25, and it'd be a little bit of a reach, or we could try to trade down. Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama.
Ooh, I do like Proctor. All right. What about defensive tackle and corner? Name the top 3 at those positions currently available.
So Caleb Banks out of Florida is the best player available right now on the board. He's a defensive tackle. I don't know if he's a 3 technique or a nose. And then Caden McDonald out of Ohio State is just only 2 down from that as a defensive tackle.
Was Lee Hunter there?
Lee Hunter is ranked number 26, and he's still available. But I think we should trade down or try to if we're going to get.
What about corner? Beyond Avion Terrell, who else is there?
Let's see. The next one is ranked with the Patriots pick at number 32. It's Brandon Sissy from South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay. What is the trade offer?
We wouldn't. I'd have to try to initiate one.
There's nobody offering a trade?
No.
No. I mean,
Nope.
I'm not the biggest Caleb Banks guy. I think Caden McDonald is more of a run-stopping defensive tackle. He's a mammoth guy. Lee Hunter is the one guy I like out of that. But I would say go Avion Terrell. That would probably be the pick that I would do right there if we stuck.
I agree. It'd be nice to have a 6-foot corner.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's 5'11", 180.
Son of a bitch.
I'm okay with it, though. I'm okay with it. Devin Witherspoon's not a tall guy either, but he's a top 5 corner, so I'm fine.
That's true. He's twitchy.
So you guys want Terrell?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We're drafting Terrell right now.
Sarge, feel free to chime in too here.
I'm not big on college football, so I don't know a lot of these names.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, I got you.
I'm all about the
All right.
offensive line because I know we need it so badly.
Right. That's the thing. Is
I
like,
did think about Proctor. Sure.
Okay. We're at pick number 49 now in the second round. We have a edge rusher, LT Overton out of Alabama's best player available. Keontae Scott, corner back out of Miami, Florida. Jake Golday, linebacker out of Cincinnati. Blake Miller, a tackle out of Clemson.
Safety. What's available at safety?
It would be ranked all the way down to 64, so it would be 16 spots moving down to grab Kamari Ramsey, the safety out of USC.
Oh, so Emmanuel Warren O'Neill went and Dylan Thieneman went.
Let me grab that real quick. It appears that they would, yes. The top ranked safeties left in this draft right now is at number 64, Kamari Ramsey out of USC. At number 97, Zakee Wheatley, Penn State. At 100, Genesis Smith out of Arizona. At 115, Bud Clark out of TCU.
I like Genesis Smith, but we can take him later.
Yeah, we can look to the third round on that.
Who are the tackles, offensive tackles, and actually who are centers available too?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is where I'd like to go all in the second round if we're going to sit here and actually take that position seriously.
So the top centers that are still available right now are at 65 and 69. It's Connor Liu from Auburn and it's Sam Hecht from Kansas State. And then at 78, you have Jake Slaughter from Florida, who I have been picking up in the third round on mock drafts that I have been doing lately.
I like Lou, but I think second round where we're picking, I think we could get at one of those guys a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not really in on Overton. I don't really feel like we need another edge rusher at the moment.
Right.
What about I like Jake Golday a lot, though. I do like Jake Golday, the linebacker. I'm a big fan of his.
We should always be picking up linebackers. And I'm not afraid.
And we've had a good track record of taking linebackers in the second round too. So I think we should maybe lean Jake Golday right there in Cincinnati.
You guys
just feed Flores. I'm all for it, man.
Make our team stronger, then you can create depth and create offense. So
yeah, right. Elite defense got Seattle ring. I'm not against it.
With the 49th pick of the 2026 NFL draft, we are drafting Jake Golday, linebacker out of Cincinnati. All right, here we go. Our next pick is number 82. It's going to filter through here. I don't have it going super fast. I'm trying to see who all gets picked. But
what are you yelling about?
All righty.
Sorry, I got a vocal cat. I don't know if you guys are picking that up.
No, I got it. Okay. Third round, another pick, number 82. Best player available with an average draft position of 75, which means we'll probably get an A+, is actually Jake Slaughter, the center out of Florida.
Take him. I got it. I would take him.
Yep, I don't think that doesn't even require discussion. We're drafting Jake Slaughter. Okay. That's kind of a no-brainer.
I'm absolutely buying that jersey because that's a badass name.
It is.
It is. Maybe it can be Slaughter 69.
Okay, we're at pick number 97 here. Our other at the tail end of this thing. So this one's a curious one. We have wide receiver Deion Burks out of Oklahoma, best player available. Then you have Kalen Rutledge, a guard out of Georgia. Zakee Wheatley, the safety out of Penn State.
Is Genesis Smith still there?
He is next in line. Genesis Smith is here. I do not think we'd be breaking our arms on that one because it's right in that range. We're at 97. They had him ranked at 100.
What's our next pick after 97?
161. So if you want Genesis Smith, we better grab him here.
Yeah. Look up a wide receiver named Ty Montgomery. He really played well at the Senior Bowl. He's from John Carroll. Where does he rank down there? Because I guarantee he's not gone. But
are we just all out on Ty Felton? By the way, like we don't think he's going to develop into much.
Oh, I mean,
he's a gunner. That's Kwesi's gunner in the third round. I mean, I'm not out on him, but like let him play his position, and if he can play his way into a spot like Thielen did, then I'm fine with that. I mean, you don't necessarily have to play him. Like, give him confidence. I mean, we've drafted him, we've got him, so just keep him.
Ty Montgomery is ranked at number 177, so I think we wait 2 rounds to see if he's still sitting around.
Perfect. Genesis Smith would be perfect right here. Then I would take Genesis Smith.
What position is he?
Safety from Arizona.
Okay, nice.
Big guy. He's a big guy.
Nice.
Yeah, our 2 safeties is Zakee Wheatley, safety from Penn State at this position, and he's 6'2", 202. And then Genesis Smith is 6'2", 204.
That's wonderful.
Big safeties, and we can do Genesis Smith here. So we will draft Genesis Smith at number 97 overall.
Oh, to have a corner and a safety in the first 3 rounds would be so nice.
And a center and an offensive lineman.
There we go.
Now is where I would maybe look at offensive lineman with the next pick.
We also need to keep running back in mind here too, if there's anything that's out there, and there's not.
Put offensive tackle and linebacker, or put offensive tackle and put running back. Put those 2 positions available right now.
So we probably have Gainwell at this point, so that'll obviously affect it.
I gotta wait for it to scroll through here. About 2 more seconds or whatever will come up. I'll tell you who the BPAs are. Oh, amazingly enough, we have a running back, a tackle, a running back, a guard. So Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas, the running back.
I like him.
Drew Shelton, the tackle out of Penn State.
I like him.
Jamari Taylor, the running back out of Virginia, and then Armaj Reed Adams, the guard out of Texas A&M, is your top 4.
I might lean Drew Shelton right there. I think we could possibly get Mike Wyatt. How much further down do we pick after this?
195, so it'll still be in this round.
I would probably take Drew Shelton right there, the tackle. This would be a time when I would do tackle.
Is Carson Beck still available?
What position?
Quarterback.
Oh,
Carson Wentz? No, we had him last year. What are you talking about?
Carson Beck. Yeah.
I don't trust quarterbacks named Carson anymore.
it does not look like it.
Okay.
So we take Drew Shelton there?
I'm comfortable.
Offensive tackle?
Yes.
You took him? Okay.
Yeah. All the big body offensive tackles and defensive tackles you can find in rounds 4 and 5 that just are 6'4", 280 plus.
Massive.
Bring him in. Yeah.
Massive.
He's 6'5", 306, and if he can gain
Perfect.
15 pounds or whatever, I think that's right in our wheelhouse of what we need. So
That's a huge benefit.
all right. All right. We're drafting Drew Shelton with pick number 161. And his average draft position in this draft was 152. So I think that's going to be a highly rated or highly graded pick for us.
All right.
Okay. Here we go. Our next pick is number 195. Let it shuffle through. I probably could have went a little quicker on this, but I like seeing who all gets picked and whatever.
How about
really
running
upset.
back and wide receiver right here?
I'm really upset we did not get Jennings Dunker out of Iowa, though, because we definitely need
I'm
to
sure
see
you
this
are,
year.
because anybody from Iowa is perfect. I know.
we need a mullet fucking slinging redneck that fucking consumes 36 ounces of coffee a day and a 12-pack of beer a night. So, all right, there's some options here. We're at number 195. The best player available is John Michael Gillenborg, a tight end out of Wyoming. Xavier Thomas, wide receiver out of LSU. Desmond Reed, the halfback out of Pittsburgh. And Isaiah Nwakobia, the safety out of SMU.
Ooh, okay. What about running backs and wide receivers? Give me the top 3 at both.
All right. Running backs. It's going to be Desmond Reed, who is the BPA right now. Then you would have to skip to rank of 207 for Robert Henry Jr. What's UTSA?
University of Texas at San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio, yeah. Roman Hemby out of Indiana. Terrion Stewart out of Virginia.
Oh, Roman Hemby is there?
Yeah, but at number 210. We're at number 195.
What about wide receivers? Is my guy from John Carroll there, or Deshaun Stribling from Ole Miss?
Wide receivers, we have Xavier Thomas, ranked 189. Caleb Davis out of Texas Tech, ranked 208. Noah Thomas is here at 211. John Michael Sturdivant, wide receiver out of Florida, is ranked 212. Josh Cameron out of Baylor, 222. And then it starts getting into way later round stuff here.
Honestly, I kind of like Roman Hemby from Indiana. I mean, if you watched Indiana play this year, I mean, all they did was win the national championship. But Hemby had over 1,000 yards rushing. He was a wrecking ball. I think if you have Mason and you sign Gainwell, I feel like Hemby, because I think Mason was only for a 2-year deal. I think Hemby could be the guy that plugs in for Mason. If you elect to not re-sign Mason, I think Hemby could step in and be the Mason guy. So I think Hemby would be a good pick right there.
At least a Ty Chandler replacement.
And I
could be a Ty Chandler replacement. Stop it.
I'm not worried about if they grade us a B- or whatever because we reached. I think this is since he's here, it's within 8 to 10 professional places. I think we draft Hemby here too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. We just took Hemby, and we're right back on the clock again because we had a comp pick. So it's mainly a lot of the same guys. Xavier Thomas, wide receiver out at LSU, is your top wide receiver, and we still have John Michael Gillenborg, tight end of Wyoming. Desmond Reed, the halfback out of Pittsburgh, but we just drafted one. We have a safety.
What about tight ends and tackle? Offensive tackle and tight end. What do you got?
Tight end. Our best player available right now is a tight end. And his average draft position is 181.3. That means in this draft, he's
this guy from Wyoming?
Yes. Gillenborg.
Okay, what about offensive tackle?
We have Cage Casey from Boise State that's within a couple
I like him.
Here. Fa'ali AMO from Wake Forest at 220.
Wake Forest, yep. I know where that is.
Down. Riley Mallman is ranked 270, so that's in the next. I mean, we have 3. That's after all of our picks are done, basically. We have 4 picks left. We would have to really trade down. So really, it's between, if you want an offensive tackle right here, it's Cage Casey from Boise State or Fayamo from Wake Forest.
If I had to pick between the two of them, I would almost lead with Fayamo because he was a transfer. He was a transfer guy that transferred into Wake Forest,
Yes.
right? He transferred to Wake Forest with a coach from, I think he was Utah. He was at Utah, and Utah had Spencer Fano, and they had 2 tackles that probably went in the first round, and he was a backup for them. So I would lean him because who doesn't like having a big Samoan guy on the offensive line too?
Well, I'm drafting him, and we have 2 minutes to get through our last 3 picks. We have again. So we got Desmond Reed out of Pittsburgh, running back. Isaiah Nakwambi, the safety out of SMU, is really, really, really fallen. Do you want to take another safety? We have Robert Spears Jennings, safety out of Oklahoma, as the third best player, and then of course Cage Casey out of Boise State dropped.
I have 0 qualms taking another safety because we're just extremely thin at that position with Metellus falling off, Harrison Smith likely being gone. Theo Jackson's just not it. Why not?
Okay,
Yep.
I'm drafting him. I'm drafting him just so we can finish this thing before the show ends. I should have had this thing moving quicker.
It's all your fault, Rob.
You blew it.
I got 2 minutes technically. The outro might run over, but
You got one more pick?
We have 2 more picks, and I'm taking an interior lineman from Penn State, Zane Durant.
Perfect.
Sure.
And our last pick is up now. We have Luke Altmaier, quarterback out of Illinois, Eli Frederick, fullback out of Navy, Thalen Green, quarterback out of Arkansas, Cole Payton, quarterback North Dakota State, or Xavier Sorey Jr., linebacker out of Arkansas.
I like Thalen Green out of Arkansas. That dude's a big guy. He's like 6'5", 6'6". Yep. I like him, and he's mobile.
He's going. It's only 12:58. I will be able to get a score here quick before we shut this thing down, and I'll let you know what our overall draft grade was.
Do we care about replacing fullback with him retiring, or do we just say F it and just
sign Riley Nowotski, the tight end from Indiana, as a replacement?
Our overall draft grade was a B+. We had B's and A's and everything. The Fayamo pick, they gave us a D on that one. Otherwise, this is a rated A draft. But we're out of time, guys. We'll see you back here next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Skol.
Yeah, yo, it's game time. Ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken, stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.